Hey DRMB, how's it going? Kulprit here, and I know it's been a little while, so I wanted to bring you guys a little video before the chaos of the DLC arrives this week, and everybody is so focused on that they're not going to be paying attention to much else. First, let me introduce the video. This is a Conquest Large on Sienne Crossing. I'm playing with 3 buddies of mine, just trying to, get some good squad play going, working on communication, that kind of thing. Obviously, you guys can't hear that, but, it was a little bit lopsided, but it was a pretty fun gameplay. I give the other team credit, even though it was, stacked pretty far in there against them later on. They did continue to fight over just single flags and stuff, even though they pretty much knew they'd lose the match, so kudos to them on that. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about the upcoming DLC, obviously. That's what's on everybody's mind. If you're on PS3, you've obviously gotten to play with this thing, you lucky bastards. I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm ready for something new. It was pretty cool that I was able to on PC unlock the guns by getting premium. It just gave me a little bit of something new to play with this week and kind of examine and focus on. But as some of you know that have visited me over on my own channel, I always like to talk about, time relevant issues and things like that. So I've been focusing on the patch and the changes that brought. And now I'm starting to focus more on the DLC and the different game modes and things like that as best I can without having actually played the game. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about, things I'm thinking about, things I'm focusing on as far as adapting my game over to the close quarters environment. I want to talk to you guys about half a dozen ideas and concepts and things that I'm going to be keeping in my mind and focusing on and working on in order to kind of help ensure that my game is as effective as it could be in the new environments and new game modes. So let me get right to the first point, and this is one that I've kind of taken for granted lately, doing the YouTube videos and stuff. I don't get to do it as much, and that is sound whoring. Basically, sound is going to be king. I know there's probably going to be some chaos with a lot of sound in very close areas, especially once you get some RPG spam and things like that. But the tight quarters, people run around on top of each other, the random spawns, as well as DICE's new patch that supposedly fixed the footsteps. You're gonna have to pay attention to sound a lot more, and it's gonna, it's gonna increase your effectiveness by magnitudes if you do. This is something that's always been very prevalent in Call of Duty games, and it's becoming more and more so with Battlefield. Battlefield used to more just enjoy the sounds and the explosions and the bass and things like that, but you didn't really have to listen for so many cues. But with Battlefield 3, they really have introduced a lot more as far as, you throw a grenade, you hear the guy go, "Oh shit, grenade!" that, and they'll tell you the guy's there. If a guy's reviving, enemies close to you, things like that. And of course, obviously, footsteps, reloads, those kind of things. Those will be much more prevalent, I would imagine, having not played the game yet, in close quarters. You can be up against a wall, and there could be a guy literally a foot away from you on the other side of the wall. So listening for that reload, audio will tell you a lot. So like I said, I tend to play with my game sounds kind of low so that people can hear the Skype audio and things like that. So I'm gonna have to rethink my setup, I think, because I'm gonna have to ensure that I get every sound cue I can, because I think that's gonna be very, very big. Number 2 I want to talk about is going to be cover as well as angles. Now, what's the difference? Obviously, when you're running around on Caspian water, say, you want to go from rock to tree to hill and keep behind cover. Well, cover in close quarters DLC is going to be dynamic. It's going to always be changing, things blowing up, holes in walls. So you can't count on that thing that you go and just crouch behind staying there. So what I want to talk about is more firing angles and only exposing as little as you have to in order to get that line of sight you need. So you want to slowly work the corner. You don't just peek out all in one rush. Just slowly round that corner, get just enough that you need so that you can get the viewing angle maybe to another door, and only expose the bare minimum, because I think what's going to end up happening is once you expose yourself, you're going to see rockets or grenades or shotgun blasts, so you're not really going to have enough time to peek back and maybe only lose half your health, but get that indicator that there's an engagement there. It's going to be much quicker. It's going to be, there's not going to be as much information gathering as there's going to be just you dying. Because, sometimes you'll peek around just to see if someone shoots at you. I don't know if that's going to work in close quarters. It remains to be seen. So work those corners very slowly. Just, leak out to them and slowly exposing, the cone of fire, basically. And just remember, there's so many different levels. Just use staircases are great. They can go up and down and only, basically head glitch them. Head glitch spots, they're going to be huge, not that they're not already. So keep those in mind. We say it all the time, but don't be running around corners. It's just with the TDM spawn, you know, TDM random spawns, there could be people anywhere. Luckily, you know, with the conquest points, or I'm just gonna call it domination. The domination points are going to kind of gravitate people to certain areas, which will help. But it's gonna be pretty random. It's gonna be pretty chaotic, because that's at least the first feedback that I've been getting from friends of mine that are playing on PS3. Third is gonna be stealth. Now, I don't necessarily mean suppressor here. That's what everybody's going to think. Now, I do think suppressor will play a pretty big role. But at the same time, what you have to recognize is, if you're up against a team that's squatted up and communicating, the suppressor value goes way down. Because they're going to be using callouts. They're going to be talking to each other. So even if you're not marked, or you fire and you don't go on a minimap, all it takes is one guy saying, you know, one guy on the staircase, he's looking downstairs, you know, and there you go. You know, you're not on the minimap, but you are, you know, basically you're spotted. So you learn to recognize that. That's why you see a lot of guys in competitive environment, they don't use suppressors, obviously, because it's just pointless. The other team's using callouts. But that will have some value. But more so, I'm talking about other things as far as, like I said, rounding corners, you know, hiding a little bit. Now, be careful. I'm not talking about camping. I'm just talking about, you know, using certain cover, using certain angles, and understand that movement is what catches the eye the most. So don't always be running, because that's going to make you much more visible to someone out of their peripheral. Move slowly, move methodically, but, you know, always be pushing. And beyond that, a big testament that I'm always talking about, trigger discipline. Only fire when you have at least a good chance to get a kill. You know, if you only see that guy and he's got 2 feet until he hits a corner, you're probably not going to get that kill, so don't even bother firing, because what you're going to do is you're going to alert him that there's somebody there, you're going to pop up on the mini-map, and you're just going to get people, you know, compressing down on you. Now, sometimes you want that. If you feel you have a good defensive position, you want to lure people in, sure, that's a tactic. But in general, you know, if you guys are pulling a flank route, and one guy just takes a bad shot at a low-value kill that's really not going to even affect it, it could just foil the whole flank, and it's really frustrating. So remember to keep that discipline, and only fire when you think you have a really good chance of actually getting the kill and then moving on and executing the maneuver. The next point I want to talk about is kind of your weapon selection. Obviously, I personally am going to be leaning more towards high rate of fire weapons. I'm not a shotgun guy, so you won't see me using them much. I can see how they'd absolutely be effective, and they're going to frustrate the heck out of me, I'm sure. But I'm going to go high rate of fire. A lot of people raving about the F2K, the AEK, obviously, but you know, you couple that with the second factor that I think is going to be very big, and that's going to be reload time. You know, some of these guns, like the MTAR, the new MTAR, it is a beast at close quarters. Hipfire is awesome, but it's got a terrible reload, so it leaves you really exposed, and you're just sitting there for 3 seconds, just basically bent over, waiting to take it. You know, they have to have that, because if they didn't have that long reload time, the MTAR would just be king at close quarters. So you have to have a negative in there, obviously. So keep that in mind. It's gonna be, you're gonna be very exposed in these maps. There's not gonna be a lot of nooks and crannies to stop and reload securely. So keep in mind, you know, obviously the FAMAS wouldn't work here with that huge reload time. Even though the rate of fire is pretty good and the hipfire is pretty good for close quarters, I won't touch the FAMAS. AEK, as much as I like it, that reload just kills me. It drives me nuts for some reason. I don't know if it's the animation or the time or whatever. So I hate to say it, but the M16 might still be king, because it just has that nice rate of fire, nice accuracy, and it's got a great reload time. So just keep that in mind. I mean, obviously use what you're comfortable with. I do like to use variety too, but I don't know if the M16's been dethroned yet. We'll see. Time will tell. The next point is going to kind of couple in with that, hipfire. If you're like me, I stink at hipfire. It's just something I've neglected for a long time now, but I've been working on it. I've gotten actually a lot better in the last week in preparation for this. So if you're not that great with it, I really suggest you just go grab a gun. MTAR is really good if you can unlock it, and just work on your hipfire. Run around on canals, run around on Carg Island TDM, and just hipfire. That's it. Just learn the distances, learn to judge it, because it is going to be a huge tool in your arsenal. Because I didn't realize until I got good at it how much I was neglecting my overall game by not doing it. So now I'm really excited that now it's like I said, it's just another tool. It's another option I have, and it's going to make me that much better of a fighter, basically. So hipfire is going to be huge, because there's going to be a lot of reaction times, a lot of run around corners, smacking into each other. Whoever can get on target fastest is going to win. So, I mean, I don't think that's anything revolutionary. And last part is most, and I think a lot of you guys, as you come here to DRMB, you're going to be pretty much aware of this, because you're all pretty good Battlefield players. Stick with your squad. You know, I know it's tough when you got randoms and whatnot, but if you're in a squad with friends, stay tight. You know, the revive is king. To keep that little nucleus, that little tight little group running around together, you're gonna go through it like a bulldozer, and you're just gonna plow people over because the combined firepower just is not gonna be able to be matched. You're just gonna destroy the lone wolves. You're gonna take out the little guys. Even the LMG's prone. He might get you. He might get 2 of you, but between your call outs, he's not gonna get the 3rd or 4th. So that is gonna be crucial to being effective in the close quarters DLC. So there you go, guys. There's about a half dozen little talking points I wanted to touch base with you guys. I wanted to hear your thoughts too as well. So like always, put it in the comments. I will do my best to reply to every single one of them. If you have any more questions or maybe you want to check out some more topics on the DLC, make sure you head over to my channel. I'm going to put some annotations up right now. And once again, I want to thank DRMB for giving me this chance. I want to say congratulations to Mass Nerderer on being named basically head guy with DRMB. I'm pretty excited to work with him in the future. Hopefully he will invite me to stay along. Otherwise, guys, I really hope you enjoy the DLC. I hope we're going to have fun with it, and I'm really looking forward to it, guys. So I'll talk to you soon. Take care.